Hey everybody, welcome to the Weekly Wisdom. I'm up here in Toronto, Canada, and with some good friends, Joe Polish and Dean Jackson. Some of you know those guys. They're not only great friends, they're extremely smart marketers, great businessmen, and just good ethical people. We're up here at Strategic Coach that I talk about a lot. I'm actually up here getting, paying money to get educated. So I didn't do a weekly blog yet, and I said to these guys, hey, you have anything smart to say? Sometimes they do. Sometimes they actually have something that makes sense. Now, these guys are not only amazing, like I said, but smart as heck. So we've been on this topic on Graziosi.com for like the last 4 or 5 weeks, talking a lot about the best education, the best wisdom, the best opportunity, bottom real estate market, great education. All of it's amazing, but without the true purpose, without a why, if they don't take action, if they can't get over their hurdles, if they can't, take negative people in their life, all that stuff will just put them back in the ruts that they're in. So my whole goal for the last couple of weeks is getting them to take their car and get out of the ruts that they've created.
Yeah.
Right? So with that, anything you'd love to share with our students?
Well, so much of it is being able to create a vision of what a better future, a bigger future. That's one of the things we always talk about here at Strategic Coach. We end up, really looking forward, kind of pushing the accelerator pedal, envisioning what that bigger future could be, and then building concrete step-by-step plans to get there. And it's kind of having that real clarity of where it is that you're headed kind of helps with the confidence.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So what would be a quick exercise for them to do to be able to see that vision?
Well, I think...
we talk about this stuff a lot, but I'd love to hear from somebody else that we didn't even prompt this.
Yeah, right. Well, when you look at, maybe are some people having a hard time getting over taking the first step to buy their first property or to go down that path. A lot of times it's about just kind of creating that vision of what it would be like to have bought your first property, to already have that experience, and allowing people to kind of experience something ahead of time. It's one of the things that as humans we have, that our brains can envision something that hasn't yet happened
and actually feel
and
the
describe
emotions
it and live in that moment. That's why I call it pushing the accelerator pedal, getting up there and experiencing what will you have. What will you be when you have that experience?
That's awesome.
And then going back, because the next thing your brain's really good at is looking at all the things that would get in your way from getting that, and listing all of those, and then looking at how to overcome those obstacles. We talk about it as the strategy circle.
Right.
It all starts with having that crystal clear vision of what it's going to look like. Yeah.
Thanks, Dean. I appreciate it. And Mr.
I'm going to say something much better than what I'm just kidding.
He's going to want
to. The thing with creating a vision, whatever it is you want, and doing what Dean is giving his proven plan and path that's obviously worked for many people, himself included. Dean's a convert of his own system. So you have a system, you have recipes that Dean's provided, but you're talking about the why, what's going to make it worth it. Since we're here at Strategic Coach, one of the things that Dan Sullivan always talked about, he tells this story when he was in the military where, I don't know if it was the drill sergeant or whoever it was saying to all the troops when they were going through, I think, boot camp, and they had to do this particular exercise. And some people, even through the training, there was real bullets being used to fire over, they would go through these drills, and people had actually died. And this, I think it was the drill sergeant, was explaining to all of these, I think there's a group of about 50 of them, and he basically said, you could die by doing this exercise. How many of you, are scared? And no one raised their hands except Dan. And so the drill sergeant said to the troops, well, the only person here who's telling the truth is Mr. Sullivan. And then he went on to explain, fear and courage. Fear is, being afraid of what you have to do. Courage is doing what you need to do with wet pants. So basically, the thing is that confidence comes from having successes, having wins, getting something down. Courage never feels good. It's always uncomfortable when you're operating out of courage. And if you think in your life, anything you've had to do that you really didn't quite understand, you didn't have any confidence, maybe you didn't have any of the support of any of your sphere of influence, your friends, your family members, but you still went through with it, none of it felt good. I mean, it takes a lot. Becoming successful requires courageous behavior initially. See, Dean didn't know what the hell he was doing in the beginning, but he did have a dream. He did have a why. He did have a reason what caused him to be courageous and take risks. And so part of the motivational aspects of what he's doing even these video blogs for is to help build up your courage muscles, knowing that you're not going to transform courage into confidence until you actually get it down, until you kind of know the ropes. That's why if you're going to play tennis for the first time, as an example, or pick a sport, and you've never done it before, well, you're not going to be great at it. You're going to probably suck at it the first time. And anything worth doing in life is worth doing poorly in the beginning. Now, if you keep doing it poorly for years on end, you probably should do something else. But you can very quickly get to a success level. Now, what is going to be the motivation to do it? So a couple of simple things, along with what you said, vision. Here's what I'd recommend. What would you be willing to die for? Who would you be willing to die for? I know that sounds extreme, but really, what is so important to you that you'd say, I have to go out and figure out how to make money? This is not about making money. Now, yeah, is it about making money? Yeah, I'm sort of playing a trick on you here. It's really about what the money will do for you, though. It's not just about the money. It's about the freedom of relationships, freedom of time, the access to everything that money provides. Food, medical care, putting your kids through college, paying your bills. All of those things are important. That gives you levels of security. So what I would do for the next month, and I didn't come up with this exercise, my buddy Brian Tracy did, write down 10 things every day that you want, that are really important to you. And just on a spiral notepad, every day 10 things. And I know Dean has given you processes and all kinds of things to think about. So tie it into that, and basically 10 things every single day that you actually want in your life. Write them down and do it for 30 days straight. Don't even look back. And what will happen, the first 3 or 4 days are going to be weird. But after that, you're going to start being congruent, and it start going to be the same sort of things. And then you'll get a lot more clarity, and build all of that in and use the training so you can take that courage muscle that you have, the vision that you want, and just make it happen, and follow the plan and path that Dean has provided, knowing that it's going to require courage for a while. So anyway, I could say more, but those are some of my thoughts.
Well, I was hoping Joe and Dean delivered something with value, so I apologize now. What's awesome? Besides that, we all have matching black shirts on.
Yeah. This
is the Black Shirt Club. No, besides that, what's awesome is to sit here with people. I literally was in the other room with them. I said, hey, would you mind? I didn't do a blog yet for my students. Yeah. Would you come do it? Without prompt, without anything other than turning on the camera, you see that 2 successful guys who have generated tens of millions of dollars, starting with nothing, with both of them, starting with nothing, have the same thought process as I do. Listen to Joe, listen to Dean. It's 2 things that I've shared, we've talked about, and it's pretty rewarding to hear it for me, and to share it with you, and to share my 2 good friends. So thanks so much for watching this week's blog. Let me know what you think below. Talk to you next week.
Have a good day.